Incoming audio transmission. Something's happening, Tenno.
Hello there, Tenno, and welcome to another Warframe Digest, episode 21. Today we'll be covering Devstream 39, and holy shit, the hype! Well, at least for me, at least. I don't know how about you guys feel about it, but anywho, yes, I just did that. Anywho, what happened? What's going on? What is up ahead? Apparently, update 15 is up ahead. All I can say is no ETA was a given, so if that's what you're here for, I'm sorry. And for the rest of you, let's continue. So, what happened? Well, they started off the stream with the speak of mods. Remember last time, Steve, Sheldon, yes, no, wait, someone, I don't even know, it's been a long day, it's been a long week, but anywho, someone was talking about removing the mod abilities from the drop tables. They took it a step further. They're removing mod abilities, pretty much the mod cards, as Avalanche Visibility, Miasma, and blah 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 blah, out of the drop tables, but they're removing it from the Warframes as well. What does that mean? Don't freak out. No panic. No panic. What that means is the mods are no longer going to be slottable. We don't have to equip them in order to have them. They're going to be on the Warframes by default. And that's a good thing? That's a bad thing? Like, some of you are freaking out already? Well, it's a very great thing, because in all honesty, that removes the need to put down 4 mods and eat up a bunch of mod points from your loadout. And because of that, they're removing 2 slots out of the whole entire loadout system, because the 4 powers are no longer needed. Thus, expanding the 6 slots of customization and free range we had to make it 8 slots of customization and free range. We have more points to mess around with, because we are no longer assigning those points to powers, and we have 2 additional slots in all just to make these builds a lot more interesting. Flat out, just a lot more interesting. Playing with 6 slots was hard, but you can get some very worthwhile builds out of it, and it's just gonna improvements. And what does that mean aside from all that? Well, your powers will progressively unlock as you rank your Warframe, and it is said to be around 12 or 15 that all your powers will be unlocked. Your ultimate will be actually obtained at the very end around 12 or 15. They're still messing with the numbers, and they're seeing what works best for new players and old players alike. Since the powers are no longer mod cards, they no longer have to be fused up to pretty much power up. So no brand new Warframes with insta max level mods because you have an aura and then just slap their ultimate on there because there's enough points. What is going to happen now is your abilities will have to be used and leveled up as you go. So in order to level up Slash Dash, you have to use it. Shield Polarize, you have to use it. Radio Blind, you have to use it. All those abilities you never used, well, start using them because you're going to have to do that to level them up for when you really need them. And alongside that, they also said something about the mod systems having a search field integrated into it. This is something that's been a long time coming, and I'm happy to find it, because finally, I don't have to go through so many scroll segments just to find that one mod I want, because I forgot to put in alphabetical order. Alongside that, they also talked about the brand new Warframe, the Warframe that was spoken about in Design Council that most everyone saw on Reddit. If you don't follow Reddit or Design Council, then it was somewhere on the forums, because people love to just talk. And it is a Void Magician type Warframe. His powers will be that of the Void technology, pretty much dimensional and pretty much rifts in space, and he'll be a Magician caster type. So something like Frost or something that falls along those lines, because Frost is a great example of a caster with those beams and fire and words. I can't even congregate them together. I can't even assimilate them. I can't even whatever. So they talked about his powers, and one good example of his powers was he can set up a void shield around him where basically he's in a pocket dimension, and if bullets and damage come right through it, it just disappears into nothingness. But the minute an enemy steps in, it's completely different playing field. They are susceptible to your damage and you to them, and it's like some weird metagame style thing, and I don't even know. It just sounds freaking awesome, and I just really want to get my hands on a new Warframe, because I still need Nyx Prime, and those parts are difficult to get when you start working like all day. Alongside that, they also talked about the Proxy Wars. The Proxy Wars, just like the Badlands, is getting a name change, because the Badlands are now Dark Sectors. The Proxy Wars will be called Syndicates. And one of the most renowned syndicates that we have actually had connections with in the past is the Red Veil Assassins. The Red Veil is coming back into the game along with some friends/enemies amongst the ranks. We have the Steel Meridian, Arbiters of the Hexus, Cephalon Suda, the Perrin Sequence, the Red Veil, and New Loka. These 6 syndicates will pretty much be sub-factions that the Tenno can associate themselves with. Some of them are friendly towards one another, and some of them are just complete polar opposites. It is up for us to figure it out, or someone on the wiki to do it for us, which ones go with which, and then it's up to us to pretty much decide where we're going to go and who we can actually ally with. We could ally with up to 2 people at best if we know which ones favor each other, but if we're trying to favor with 2 people of polar opposite sides, we're just going to be canceling each other out. So if you know what you're doing, you can get 2 people under your belt, best friends forever. And in order to get started with these guys, you will have to do what is called a sacrifice that you will have to perform in order to actually gain loyalty and prove your loyalty and dedication to these syndicates. As well, after performing a sacrifice, you'll also obtain the sigils for that syndicate. It is possible to obtain all 6 sigils as long as you perform all 6 sacrifices, and practically run around the missions with the sigils representing that syndicate. When you run around with those syndicate sigils, you'll be giving a portion of your total XP at the end of every mission to that syndicate, which gains you favor points. These favor points can be then distributed and used amongst these syndicates that you have pretty much worked towards and obtained that XP and loyalty and favor towards, and actually get a tiered reward. There is different stages of these multi-tiered systems. Actually, if you see in the background, you can see them right there. Right here you see a little cursor. It actually is neutral, but you can go up to the next 5 tiers or down if they really hate you for the bottom 2 tiers. This is pretty much a sneak peek towards what's to come that was kind of like thrown in there and not really spoken about, but for us pretty much nitpicky little junkies, we pretty much notice everything. These systems will be very interesting. It is not RNG based. As you can see, we can actually spend our loyalty to get exactly what we want, but when we purchase something, we'll go back down a level according to how much loyalty this costs. So it's very interesting to see what is going on. These syndicates are going to be a very big high note for Update 15 down the road, but that's not much to go off of right now until we actually see how the mechanics work in-game. Another big thing that's going to be coming in Update 15 is the Void Trader. The Void Trader that was hinted back a while ago about getting our old Void parts that we no longer want and actually liquidating these assets to achieve a new item in the Void. This Void Trader will be unique and limited, apparently, with limited time deals during certain times of the month or certain times throughout the progression of the game. And the Void currency that we get for liquidating our assets with him is unique to him and him alone. So it's like selling things to Darvo and Darvo saying, "You have in-store credit with me and only me, friend," and things like that. So yeah, let's move on. We also have Arcwing co-op gameplay. We see the team get together and play 2 players on the Arcwings. As you can see here, we have 2 Arcwings flying about, 2 Arcwings deploying, and I said that backwards, but who cares? The video will say it for me. And you see some very interesting little floating abouts and 2 completely different Arcwing types. There was a lot of detail behind these, but let's keep going through it as there's some interesting things down the road, and I want to keep this short as possible. After they showed the gameplay and pretty much one of the devs crashed on us and we were left with Rebecca flying by herself and destroying all these nasty Grenaire. Sorry, Yukami. But we move on. We also get a sneak peek of a pre-rendered video of a gameplay mechanic that they're going to be introducing. They call it Trench Run as of right now, as it still needs an official mission type name, but you'll be practically running through the insides of a ship, navigating through the innards, pretty much between the hallways and segments that we normally run about, in the background, finding the inside core of these ships and maybe taking the ships out from within. Not exactly sure what is going to happen here or what we're going to do here, but it seems very interesting. It's very reminiscent of the Star Fox games back in the day, and also kind of Star Wars-ish when they're on the Death Star just shooting the trench and things like that. We also have some insight on the sigils and how they look in-game, and it's very interesting to see this. Also, you can see here, along with the details of the tiered system for these factions, for these syndicates, we also see some previews of who these syndicate people are, who are the representatives for these syndicates, and I'm pretty interested to see more characters and more faces that aren't just the bosses speaking to us and wanting to destroy us and our greedy dog ways. So there's pretty much everything we have for Devstream 39. I found a lot of great info on this, a lot of small bits that weren't really worth recapping because there's so many small snippets, and I'm excited. Like, this has me so pumped for update 15. 15 seems to be one of the more ambitious updates if all goes through, and it's just uphill for Warframe at this point on if they keep progressing through this. Also, last but not least, they have a hype site going on, as you can see here. This hype site is just going live as of Friday. Right now it's Saturday, so it might have updated. I really don't know. I didn't see it yesterday. And keep tabs on this site, because there's going to be a lot of information coming on here, I hope. And by the looks of it, it won't be this Wednesday. It might be the upcoming Wednesday after that, unless they do all this hype site in the next 4 days. So all bets are off. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited for this. I'm always excited for new content, so yes, I'm overly excited and biased at this moment, but when push comes to shove, I will criticize this game overall for what it's worth. So until that time happens, let's go enjoy some Arcwing action and die inside as we wait for this content. See you, Tenno.